Welcome back to the Matharu Kitchen. I'm Kat. Today we are going to make Rattan pepper sesame noodles. This noodle is inspired by some of the Chinese noodle that I've been having recently. Rattan mian, which is a type of dry noodle. It tastes kind of similar, but the original recipe has got other pickled vegetable added into the noodle. So it's not so easy to find the pickled vegetables here, which is why this version is a simplified version of that noodle. Okay, you may ask, what is rattan pepper? So there are three most popular type of peppercorn in Chinese cuisine. The first one is the most commonly known, which is the Sichuan red peppercorn. That peppercorn, it's used in the most popular mala dishes. It gives you that fiery hot taste and the numbing feeling. And then there is green peppercorn, which is spicier and hotter than the red peppercorn. But today we are using rattan pepper. Rattan pepper, it's not spicy, but it has that numbing sensation. It gives you that numbing sensation in your mouth, right? But it's light and bright. Here in Singapore, it's not easy to find rattan pepper. In China, people will make their own rattan pepper oil by pouring hot oil over fresh rattan pepper. However, there's a shortcut. You can buy bottled rattan pepper oil. So now, let me go through the list of ingredients so you know what we need to prepare for today's dish. So today we are going to make a noodle dish. Obviously, we'll need some noodles. This noodle is a Taiwanese noodle, which is one of the best we've tried so far. It's called Long Kao Taiwan noodles. If you can find this, go and get this. It's got a good texture. It doesn't get mushy or too soft. It's got a nice chew bite. You should get this if you can. Then for the fresh ingredients, we have cucumber, carrot, and of course coriander, but this is optional. If you don't like coriander, you can skip this. And we also have garlic, 3 cloves of garlic. We will need sesame paste for the sauce. So here, this one I've got is a Chinese sesame paste. You can use tahini if you really cannot find Chinese sesame paste. There is a slight difference in taste profile. And in the market, you can also find roasted sesame paste or regular white sesame paste. So either way, it's fine. Just hopefully you can find one that is not too dry. Like some sesame paste that comes in a jar, it tends to get quite dry and hard for you to scoop. Next, we will need a few spices. So we'll need 1 star anise, 1 teaspoon of red peppercorn, and a little bit of cinnamon. So here I have 3 small pieces of cinnamon. Then we have the 13 spice. So most common Chinese spice powder, you know, is the 5 spice powder. This is 13 spice powder. This is a must-have. Hopefully you can find it. It's usually in a small yellow box. Yeah. We will also need some vegetable stock. I'm using a concentrate vegetable stock. And this is the soul of the noodle today. It's the rattan pepper oil. If you can find, please use this. Otherwise, the dish will not be the same. So rattan pepper oil, 藤椒油. And the other condiments that we'll need are the red sesame oil, which is hot oil, commonly used in Japanese ramen. This is optional, but good to have. Sesame oil. And light soya sauce. We'll need light soya sauce. Finally, we'll need a little bit of MSG. Just a little bit. Okay. Alright, so now we have run through the ingredient list. Let's begin. Okay, the first thing we need to start making is 卤水. direct translation, it's called braised water. So it's like a flavored seasoned water that's a base. It's kind of like a sauce, but a lot more runny. You'll understand once I get into it. So we'll just add about 200 ml of water into the pot. The spices, which is 1 star anise, 1 teaspoon of red peppercorn, you can use the dried one, and 3 small pieces of cinnamon. Have that in. You can smell the spices, the aromas, the fragrance of the spices already. Now as the water is heating up, you can add 1 tablespoon of your vegetable stock. So we'll just boil it for about 3 minutes, and then we can set it aside and let the flavor intensify in your braised water. Alright, now the next thing we are going to make is garlic water. So we need 3 cloves of garlic. Put the garlic into the chopper and add about 100 ml of water. Chop it up. Ta-da! Transfer this into a small bowl and then we'll just keep it aside. A lot of Chinese noodle dishes uses garlic water instead of just grated garlic. This gives the noodle dish a nice garlic fragrance without being overpowering. Next up, we are going to prepare the fresh ingredients. First, we will peel the carrots, and then we'll have to julienne the carrots. Now we do the same for the cucumber. Then we'll also chop up a little bit of coriander. Now we need to mix the sesame oil with the store-bought sesame paste because usually the ones in the jar are quite thick. So you need to thin it out in order to mix well and easily with the noodles later. So 1 big tablespoon, about 1.5 tablespoons of sesame paste, and then we're going to pour in sesame oil. It really depends on the brand of sesame paste that you get. The thicker it is, the more sesame oil you need. We're not going to mix any water into this mixture, only sesame oil. So now with a whisk, we try to mix it up. We want to make it into a thick sauce kind of a consistency. It's about this thickness. It's runny but still kind of thick, right? Now we're done. We keep this aside. Next up, we are going to boil the noodles. We'll just add in our noodles into the water. We're going to separate the noodles gently in the water. And we will only cook it to about 80% done. Kind of like the al dente concept. But Chinese. Okay, now we can test it if it is 80% done. There's a little bit of a bite. It's still firm. Now, take the noodle out and transfer it onto a big plate, the biggest plate you have at home. What we want to do is to quickly cool the noodle down. On this big plate, my noodles, I want to cool it down quickly, but I want to sprinkle some oil over it. You want to spread it out, flip it in the oil, like so. I suddenly cannot remember the name of this technique, but I will insert it here. So essentially, this will help to make the noodle contract. And if you do this, your noodles will be very bouncy and chewy. So I've only been tossing for about a minute or so, and the noodles are now completely cooled down. And I'll just split it back into 2 portions for my easy handling later. You can see that the noodles are not sticking together at all, right? It is really separated like individual. Now we are going to assemble the ingredients. Right, so now while I heat up the pot of hot water again, I'm going to assemble the condiments and the sauces into the bowl. I'll need 2 tablespoons of the braised water. If your soup stock is of a low sodium type, then you might need 3 tablespoons, so adjust accordingly. And then 2 tablespoons of garlic water, two and a half tablespoons of the sesame paste, 1 tablespoon and a half, 1/8 teaspoon of 13 spice, a little bit, just a pinch of MSG, about a teaspoon, a little lesser than a teaspoon of the Rattan pepper oil, a dash of red oil. Now we mix it all up. Then I'll put my noodles into the boiling water and we'll just cook it for 20 seconds. Now we take it out, add it into the bowl of your sauces and toss it quickly. Oh, smells really good already. Why? Because of the Rattan pepper oil. Awesome. Okay, now you toss it up quick because there's sesame paste in it. What happens when sesame paste mixed with water? It tends to thicken up. That's right. Add in your cucumber, carrots, and some coriander. If you want, you can crush some peanuts, or you can also dust some sesame seeds over your noodles. And voila, it's done. Alright, shall we do a taste test? Of course. I cannot wait to get into this. If you can smell it, creamy, but it's not sticky. Oh, so good. So good. Numbing feeling sensation from the Rattan pepper has come through. It is not spicy at all, but it gives you that extra something. And with the sesame paste, the very bouncy, chewy noodle, you can add any kind of salad vegetable in it, or just zucchini and carrot, because it's, you know, the go-to for all the dry noodles. You gotta try this. You have to try this. Okay, it's lunchtime and we are hungry, so I gotta go. So if you have liked this video, do remember to give us a like and subscribe to our channel. If you try this, comment down below and let us know how it was. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye!